Hey guys, it's SJ Football 16 and today I'll be revealing my predictions for week 31 of the Barclays Premier League season 2015 to 16. Going to start with a game between Everton and Arsenal. Arsenal have not been playing very well recently. Everton, they've been playing alright. Everton have got to the Cup semi-finals and Arsenal have been knocked out by Watford. This will be interesting. Everton are currently mid-table. Arsenal are fighting for the title, but their supremacy isn't quite successful yet. So I'm going to say the score is actually going to be really interesting. I'm going to say 3-3. I'm going to say, and the scorers are going to be Ross Barkley, Phil Jagielka, and Romelu Lukaku for Everton, and it will be Joel Campbell, Nacho Monreal, and Mikel Arteta for Arsenal. As we know, Ramsey's injured, so I can't see them with a recovering player in the middle there. So, and Arteta is playing better than El Neni at the moment, so I'd say he would be better to start, and I think he'll get a goal. And now I'm going to head over to the game between Chelsea and West Ham. West Ham, they're playing really well this season. They're fighting for a place in Europe next season. Chelsea, they're just fighting to do as well as they can this season. They're currently unbeaten and goose hitting in the Premier League. So I'm going to say the score in this is going to be 1-0 to Chelsea. I'm going to say in this one because Chelsea they're gradually improving, as we can see. In West Ham, although they got that draw against Manchester United, I don't think they're going to quite be able to do it against Chelsea. I think Chelsea, they're generally a better team, I think, but it's just the start of the season with Mourinho wasn't that good. Next, Crystal Palace and Leicester next. You might be surprised by this when judging by Leicester's current form at the moment, and I'm actually going to say it's going to be 1-0 to Crystal Palace. This is because Leicester, at the end of the season, they'll soon find that although the games may look easy on paper, they'll start to feel the pressure a bit, and that might stop them from indeed winning the title. They're going to find teams like Crystal Palace really hard. They got teams like Manchester United and Chelsea, and they're going to find those games just as hard as any of these lot are going to be. And Palace, they've recently got to the Cup semi-finals, and I can see them improving with a result against Leicester. So it's going to be 1-0. Scorer is going to be Scott Dann, the centre-back. Now I'm going to head over to the game between Watford and Stoke City. I think the score in this is going to be 1-0 to Watford. Watford got a brilliant win against Arsenal on the weekend in the FA Cup, and I think they could end up finishing mid-table in the end. Stoke City, they've been playing alright recently. They haven't quite hit the heights, but I think they could still finish mid-table in a similar position to Watford, but I think Watford are playing slightly better at this moment, so it's going to be 1-0. Score is going to be Troy Deeney. Now I'm going to head over to the game between West Brom and Southampton. I think the score in this is actually going to be a 0-0 draw. West Brom, they're playing a bit better recently. Southampton, their form has gone. They beat Stoke, but I don't really think they're playing exactly that well apart from that. So I'm going to say the score is going to be 0-0. Now I'm going to head over to the 5:30 kickoff between Swansea City and Aston Villa, potentially the relegation battle. I think if Aston Villa lose this, they've got no chance of survival. So I'm actually going to. I think this is going to be quite a close contest, and I'm going to say the score is going to be 2-2 because they're both in the same position where they want to stay up, but they could easily get relegated, both of these teams. So I'm going to say the scorers are going to be Leroy Fair and Barrow. I'm going to say he played really well against Bournemouth. So and I reckon he could get another goal against Aston Villa. And for Aston Villa, it's going to be Julian Lescott, the centre back. He's been playing quite well this season for Aston Villa, and Rudy Gusted. I think he's quite an underrated striker in all fairness, and I think he could be moving to a better team next season because I feel that he's one of Aston Villa's best players in my opinion. So it's going to be, and that's why I think he's going to score, and that's why I think the score is going to be 2-2. And I'm going to head over to the Sunday kickoff, the first big game. Newcastle against Sunderland. Rafa Benitez, I think he could round off with an excellent home debut for Newcastle, and I think the score is going to be 1-0 to Newcastle. We've seen it with managers. Whenever a new manager comes in on his home debut, they usually get the result they want, and I think that could indeed happen. Sunderland, they've been playing quite well recently, but I don't think they're quite gonna hit the heights against Newcastle because both teams they're playing quite well. Both teams they're doing around the same, but it's just Steve McLaren wasn't doing that well with Newcastle, and that's why I think they're going to do a bit better now. I think they might actually survive. In all fairness, now I'm going to head over to the game between Southampton and Liverpool. I think the score in this is going to be 2-2, and I think the scorers are going to be Graziano Pella and Charlie Austin, and I think the scorers for Liverpool are going to be Ibe and Alberto Moreno. It's because Southampton they've been playing quite well this season, and so have Liverpool, and they're in the same form at the moment. So I'm going to say it's going to be 2-2. Graziano Pella and Charlie Austin are going to score for Southampton, and for Liverpool it's going to be Jordan Ibe and Alberto Moreno. Now I'm going to head over to the Man City, to the Manchester derby between Man City and Manchester United. I think the score in this is going to be 2-1 to Manchester City. This is because Man United, their form is going up a bit recently, but I don't think they're quite going to beat Man City. They're not really that ready to challenge like the top 4 teams. Yeah, they beat Arsenal, but I don't think they'll be able to do the same against Manchester City. So I think the score is going to be 2-1. Scorers are going to be Jesus Navas and Kevin De Bruyne for Manchester City, and I think Marcus Rashford, the youngster, is going to score for Manchester United. And finally, I'm going to end this episode with the game between Tottenham and Bournemouth. I think the score in this is going to be 1-0 to Tottenham, and I think the scorer is going to be Harry Kane. And he's been in quite good form recently, and I could see him getting another goal against Bournemouth. In this episode, you may have noticed that I got one of the teams mixed up. In the West Brom game, I meant to say West Brom against Norwich, and Norwich haven't been in good form. West Brom, they're playing a bit better. It's going to be 0-0. The exact score as I said earlier, but it's just I made a slight mistake on it. I apologise to you for that. That's all from me for today. Don't forget to like this video if you haven't done so already. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to this channel. And don't forget to comment on any changes you think should be made. See you guys next week.